to cross the river, well away from the stadium. And the police operation to control them has been almost invisible. Only 800 men are involved. The riot squads won't be called in unless there's serious trouble. But if the present mood holds, that looks unlikely.
Everybody's been great, even the police and the Spanish fans have been great to us. Absolutely magic.
No sign of trouble.
No trouble at all. That's what we want. Good game of football, good game. Win or lose, we go home happy.
Barcelona's fans have been around the stadium all day. If the operation works, the two sides will never meet. The only unknown factor for the police, a handful of Dutch troublemakers.
We spotted four Dutch skinheads that tried to provoke the English. They didn't let them provoke, but we arrested them immediately because we have a very low tolerance for this match.
The big test, though, is yet to come. Today's alcohol ban in the city ends after the match. Police are hoping for a quiet night, whatever the result. Peter Staunton, ITN Sport, Rotterdam.
Rotterdam, where in just under an hour, Manchester United are bidding to win their first European title since 1968. Thousands of fans have made the journey to Holland for the meeting with Barcelona in the final of the European Cup Winners' Cup. A little later we'll be meeting them. I'll also bring you the latest team news, and I'll be talking to a United hero of yesteryear about their chances of lifting the trophy.
Thanks, John. Yes, a great night in prospect there, and as he says, we'll be rejoining him very shortly.
Thank you, Lucy. You rejoin us here at the Feyenoord Stadium, where the big match kicks off very shortly. A match which, of course, you can see exclusively on ITV after Coronation Street, in fact. Well, this is the first time that an English club has appeared in a European final since 1985, when the Heysel Stadium disaster led to their 5-year ban. But today, thousands of Manchester United fans have been arriving in Rotterdam, determined to enjoy themselves and lift the reputation of English fans abroad. Rob McCaffrey's been spending the day with them.
Rotterdam is the biggest port in the world. About 1 million people live here, all told. Today, the numbers are swelled by 45,000 as the cultures of England and Spain come together on Dutch soil. 15,000 United fans had bought tickets through the club. Most arrived today, though many had been partying in Amsterdam, 40 minutes train ride away. When did you get here?
This morning, 9 o'clock.
No problems at all?
No. 5 minutes on the ferry. There's only 3 coaches in our ferry, 2:30, and was here for 9 o'clock.
Everybody's been talking about trouble, and have you seen any of them?
No whatsoever. When I say the Dutch people are organised, I'll tell you what, organised. They give you leaflets explaining everything what has to be done and the works.
They're quite nice. So far, no problem. They're having a good time. Let's hope it stays that way.
In town, security was watchful. You could still get a drink on the outskirts. In the centre, some bars were shut and alcohol banned. In general, the mood has been peaceful. The Barcelona fans are used to Cup Winners' Cup success. Their sides won it 3 times. That's more than anyone else. Partying with Barca is a Catalonian pastime. Partisan fans, but so far, peaceful fans. It's the passion on the pitch that really matters. United hoping to crown English football's return to Europe with a nice piece of silver.
Yay! Rob McCaffrey reporting there. Well, with me now is Denis Law, who remembers Manchester United's triumph very well. You remember it, Dennis, because you weren't playing, were you?
Exactly, yes. I was in hospital having a cartilage operation, and when the lads were down at Wembley winning it against Benfica, I was sat up in bed having a few beers watching the game on telly.
That must have been dreadful for you, though.
It was absolutely awful, but it's so long ago, and it was nice because, of course, they were the first team, English team, to win the European Cup. And, of course, this is now the greatest night since then, isn't it? The English clubs allowed back into Europe, and the fact that Manchester United have got to the final, beautiful.
Well, of course, you are very experienced in European football, even though you missed that game. What sort of a match can United expect tonight, Dennis?
Well, of course, the weather is awful, isn't it? And maybe that will suit Manchester United more than Barcelona. The atmosphere is tremendous. It's lovely to be back. It'll be a very tight game for the first 10-15 minutes, but with Barcelona having 3 key players out of the side, this is probably the best opportunity that Manchester United have had of winning the cup.
Well, you might as well name those players. I was going to, but you tell us.
There's Zubizarreta in goal, Amor, those 2 are suspended, and of course Stoichkov up front, he is injured, so he is not playing. He is a very dangerous player, top scorer in Barcelona, so the fact that they've got 3 out, nice time.
Right, what are the United players who could make a difference tonight?
Well, I think you've got to look at two players in particular. You've got Lee Sharp, a young boy who's come in, shows he's got tremendous talent. And, of course, Mac Hughes, who used to play for Barcelona, he'll have something to prove. I think he's probably the best striker in Britain at the moment. And then you've got Brian Robson from midfield. If he comes through and plays the way that he can play, those three players, if they play well, then Manchester United will beat Barcelona.
Let's hope they do. Dennis, thank you very much indeed.
Pleasure.
I'll give you the Manchester United team news. Dennis has done that for Barcelona. Apparently, Seeley and Pallister definitely are playing. So will Phelan, which means that Neil Webb is on the substitutes bench. Well, that's it. Don't forget, as I said before, the game is exclusively on ITV after Coronation Street. Let's hope tomorrow night in Granada tonight, we're celebrating Manchester United bringing the European...
It's just great to see English football represented in a major European final for the first time in 6 years. For the United fans in excellent spirits and in good voice with their new theme song, always look on the bright side of life. And Dennis, appropriate that, isn't it? Tonight of all nights.
Well, it's an awful night, but it's a great night for English football. Let's hope it's an even greater night for Manchester United.
You'll be able to see it live right after the break here on ITV. Welcome back to the Feyenoord Stadium in Rotterdam. We're just 5 minutes away from the start of the 1991 European Cup Winners' Cup final. Awaiting the teams to take to the pitch. Over the past 6 years, occasions such as these haven't really mattered to English football. Oh, we've missed them all right, but they've missed us too. 15,000 Manchester United fans with tickets have made their way over by train and boat and plane. And they're helping to provide a really splendid atmosphere here in the Feyenoord Stadium. And just listen to the noise as Manchester United and Barcelona take to the field. A typical Catalan scene, and there the United supporters at the other end. We've got firecrackers, we've had wind, we've had rain here in Rotterdam today, but all that doesn't matter now. What matters is the final of the European Cup Winners' Cup. United really have been splendid ambassadors in pioneering the return of English clubs into Europe, but for the first time on their travels this season they meet a team of genuine European pedigree in Barcelona. This really is the big time, and where better to be than in Rotterdam. It was here that Everton became the last club to win a European trophy. That was the Cummers Cup in 1985. 2 weeks after a marvellous and trouble-free occasion, violence erupted in the Heysel Stadium and English football was sent into exile. And it was here in Rotterdam where it all started in 1963. Needless to say, it was the Cup Winners' Cup again. Spurs with 2 out of 5 goals from a young Jimmy Greaves. And Spurs becoming the first English side to win a European trophy. 28 years ago in this very same stadium, Danny Blanchflower lifting the trophy on an historic night. Jim, this stadium has been very kind to English clubs in the past.
It has indeed, Elton. In fact, it looks younger than what I do. I've aged more than the stadium. But it has been very kind. We won our first ever British trophy here, and I do feel that we can go on and win another one tonight. I'm really happy and confident for Manchester United.
Certainly, Dennis, if United are to win tonight, they're going to have to play a lot better than they did at Wembley against Sheffield Wednesday, or they'll be murdered. That's the feeling here.
That is for definite. They will have to play better. And I think that with them having 3 key players out, I think this is United's best chance to beat Barcelona tonight. But they'll have to play well to do it.
The final of the 1991 European Cup Winners' Cup. An English team in the final for the first time for 6 years. Let's join Brian Moore.
Thanks a lot, Elton, and let us first check on the two teams. Manchester United first. Well, manager Alex Ferguson had only one major decision